And we are live. Awesome. Okay, I actually started the stream on time. We're learning again. Welcome to the series where Learn AI series, where every day, Monday through Friday, we're going to spend an hour at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to learn AI. The point of this series is for inspiration. I want to inspire you to challenge yourself, to learn new tools, to build new things. I just love building. You learn so much. And so with AI, there's a lot. I want to get you out of just doing ChatGPT prompts and stuff like that. I want to show you the power of what can be done with AI and automation. And so I have a very awesome demo today. So let's get started. So if you've been following, yesterday we started with how to write a book using ChatGPT. So in 1 hour, we wrote a book completely from scratch. And then here's the book. It's a very short book. There's about 12 chapters. It's a science fiction book. We illustrated it. We did everything in 1 hour because that's the challenge. I don't want, the way I learn is through project-based learning, where I set a goal and a challenge and a deadline where I have to get it done. That way you don't get stuck, procrastinate, or have to learn a bunch of different things or trying to be, I don't want you to become like a master expert, or let's put it this way, it's like just get enough to figure out what needs to get done to get the project done. So we wrote a book in an hour. Of course, it's not perfect. It's not going to be shipped to Amazon, but the main goal is that, hey, we went from complete idea and blank page all the way to a rough draft and mock-up with even images too, which is kind of cool. So in this example, again, we're going to challenge ourselves. I'm very excited about this one. In this example, we're going to level up. We're going to build an AI automation. So we have, and we're going to learn make.com too, because make.com is very powerful for automating tasks and projects. And we're going to take it a step farther by adding an AI assistant, specifically a ChatGPT assistant, because we're going to generate some text. And then we're going to do something like a real world business use case. A lot of my audience is entrepreneurs. And so we're going to build a social media posting automation, basically, where we're going to input an idea into a Google Sheet of a concept or just a topic idea for a post, just an idea, an image, and then we're going to send that to our ChatGPT assistant, who's going to generate the text for a blog post. And then it's going to post that to Instagram. So let's see a demo of what we're going to build tonight. So I have all this automation. We're going to go to my LinkedIn. I'm going to refresh to show you that nothing is previously here. So as you can see, there's only just this event. So let's run this automation so we can see what it does. Boom. Takes the idea, grabs the image, sends that to the AI assistant right here. It's writing the copy for the text, parses it, and now it's posted. So now if I refresh my LinkedIn post, we have a post right here. So the image and text, both, really the title and the body was generated using the AI assistant. So that's what we're going to do in this demo. We want to start small, of course, because I want to introduce people to how to use make.com and just the concept of automation in general. So again, this isn't much of a step-by-step tutorial kind of thing. Again, this is an inspiration series to just show you, I want to challenge you with what's possible. So we're going to build this completely from scratch, because with it, you'll have the principles and understandings to basically automate your social media content for posting on all the social media platforms, generating text, generating images. You'll have the foundation, and more importantly, you'll get a good understanding of how to use make.com, which is very powerful. It's more powerful than Zapier because it gives you a lot of flexibility of what you're going to build. So let me just duplicate this and move this into another page. So I have a little reference to build, and we're going to build the whole thing from scratch. Nice. So I'm just going to unlink this, and we're just going to build separately. I'm just going to move this up here. Actually, let me just build from scratch. Actually, let me just go team, close this out. Okay, so once you create a make.com account, everything that you can do in this demo will only cost you $5 because we have to put a budget for our AI assistant using, we're actually going to create a custom AI assistant so that we could pass information and it could do work for us, almost like an intern. I treat them like interns. I'm not going to give them like full employee status. These are little interns I could give tasks and they can do some work like, hey, generate some text for a post. So let's get started and make. If you haven't used Make before, it's a very powerful workflow automation tool. Everything, a workflow is called a scenario. So we're going to click here, create a new scenario. And the way scenarios work or workflows work is there's some trigger event, then multiple steps is basically it. So we're going to have some trigger event. And the way when you build things, there are 3 different tools you want to use. Essentially, you want to store all the information in a database. A database is basically an Excel sheet. That's basically it. Now, what I recommend is you can also use Airtable. That's probably more robust for it. But again, people have budget restraints and also expertise or skills in just learning how to build and use databases. But if you're to build this properly for a client or for yourself, you would want to use a proper database tool like Airtable, or what I recommend, ClickUp. ClickUp is more affordable than Airtable. And you can build everything. It has infinite records, dashboards. You could build lists. When I built my first social media automation, let me actually show you, just to kind of show you something cool. If we go to Make, we all start somewhere. This was my first automation in Make. If we go scenarios in July 2023. So this was my first social media bot. Before AI was a thing, this was how I was automatically posting content. I would save content. Don't get overwhelmed. I would save content in a database, ClickUp, and then automatically I would create a calendar and it will automatically post. It would query it and say, hey, are there any posts that are due today? And it'll say, yes, this is post should be due today. It's like I was doing this for multiple clients. This is a very old project. And it'll say, okay, hey, what type of it? Is it an image? Is it a video? Is it a carousel? And based on the type, then it will go ahead and post on Instagram and Facebook completely automatically. And then it will go and update ClickUp. So this was one of my first automations and real world business use case that I was using with Make. So let's get started. So we need a triggering event from some database. We're going to start with Google Sheets because it's free and simple. If you can understand Google Sheets, you can understand databases. So we have a very simple, let me zoom in here. Very perfect. Oh, perfect. One, I really also want to teach you like the right language too. Technically, it's called a database, also called an object, where you have columns and you have rows. Rows are also called records of information. And so here we have one database or object where we have 3 columns, one for the status, because when you're posting content, some status would be idea, some statuses would be in review, and some statuses would be ready to post. So say start would trigger this to say, hey, the status, go ahead and start, go ahead and post this. Then we have an image URL where it's just a image that's saved. You could also save an image in your Google Drive, but the images do need to be stored externally somewhere. So we're just this is just a regular image and the URL. Perfect. And then here is going to be our idea that we're going to give to ChatGPT to write a blog post based off the idea. So the topic is just real estate is saturated. That's the only thing that we're going to give to our AI assistant. And it's going to take that information, that message, and it's going to write a 3-sentence blog post for us with both a custom title and 3 descriptions. So that is our message and our goal. We'll play with it to tweak it. So that's our database, is just creating a sheet. We have the name of it is called content. That's the name of the file. So that's going to be our database where we're going to trigger events from. So our first action is going to be search for those rows. Let's see. So Google Sheets, select the application. Each one of these is called a module. And we're going to type search. Perfect. Now I already linked my Google account. I recommend doing this in the same browser and already be signed in, so that references your cookies and says, hey, you're already logged into your Gmail account. I know which account and you want to select from my Google Drive, what is the name of the spreadsheet? I'm going to search content because again, that's the name of the Google Sheet. Perfect. And we only have, when it says sheet, if you scroll, I know it's a little hard, at the very bottom it says sheet 1 down here. You can have multiple record or multiple sheets or multiple objects. We're saying, yep, it's just on sheet 1. Perfect. It says, hey, are there table content headers? Yes, there is. And that's referencing to this row right up here. These are our headers. And then column range, we're just going to do, hey, search A through Z for some information. And I love filters. Filters are I only want you. So when I build automation, I always pretend like I'm talking to an intern on their first day of working with me. And I say, I want to be very explicit, because that's when these are no code tools, and especially we're skipping the coding skill set. But when you build with no code tools or automations, it's both the same. You want to be very explicit, because robots or software is very fast, but it's very dumb. So you have to be very explicit of every step that you want the automation to do, or that basically we're coding underneath the hood too. So we're clicking status. So find me records where status equals the word start. And then there's nothing to order, there's nothing to sort. And I only want to limit back only one record or one row. Perfect. So this is just going to search for the database as the triggering event, and then go ahead and find any records or row where the status equals start, and it's going to return one record. If you want to return more, that you can do that later on. But yep, so there's our event. So what's the next step we wanted to do? So next, and this is just unique to LinkedIn, where you have to download the image file and save it in order for the LinkedIn automate, or the LinkedIn module to use that. So that's what our first step we're going to do. We're going to do HTTP. I'm going to show you some pro tips of using make at the very end, but I want you to understand. So HTTP, we're going to say, hey, I'm going to give you a URL to this module, and I want you to go and fetch and download that file or that image. Now, if I click in here, there is what's called hard coding. So I could hard code that URL right here, for example. I could hard code it. Hard code means saving the exact information into what's called the variable status. So from here, but we have it saved in a database, and I want this workflow to be dynamic, so it doesn't matter what URL is in the sheet. So here, that's where when you pop up, it says Google Sheet. Right here, this is a great thing about make.com, is that it gives you access to all the information so that you can customize it. And we can see here, hey, Google Sheets, it says, oh, this is the information that I found from it. There's our status column, file column, and message column. These are what's called variables or data pills. They're placeholders. So I'm going to say, hey, on the file column, I'm going to click on it once and it automatically populates it. Perfect. And it says, hey, it's a placeholder. So when you find information, whatever's in row 1 under the file column, this URL right here, go ahead and populate that. And the purpose of this module right here, I'm going to click save, is just to download a file. So now we got our image, we are jamming. Now we need to build our AI assistant. This is really cool. So for that, we're going to go to platform.openai.com. When you create an account, you're going to, which I'm not going to do here, you're going to add your credit card or debit card information, and you're going to fund it with $5. That's more than enough. That's more than enough what's called tokens, or this allows us to build a custom chatbot, send a request. It's going to charge us a token based on the usage, but it's it's a fraction of a penny. It's very, very small. So those $5 are going to last you for most of the time that you're building and practicing. So it's only investment here. And what we're going to do is, let's start from scratch here. I'm going to create a new project. I'm actually going to copy this. I'm going to create a new project. Make automation number 2. Great. It says, hey, what do you want to do in this project? I want to create assistants right here. They're the same thing as like custom GPTs that you build in ChatGPT Plus. So I'm going to create an assistant. We're going to give it a name. We're going to call it LinkedIn Bot Writer. The name could be anything that you want. Now, this is where the skill set of prompt engineering comes along. This is your system instruction or the prompt that you're going to give it. I'm going to just, well, we could do it in there. So just going to paste. Perfect. And let's go ahead and read this prompt, because remember, when you do prompt engineering, there's always the 3 parts that I teach in my course inside the AI Mastermind community. We have a ChatGPT mastery course inside of it where we teach you how to do prompt engineering, and prompts have 3 parts. Part number 1 is you give it a role, a purpose. So we're saying, hey, you are a LinkedIn social media copywriter. That is our role. Then the second part is a task where I'm being very explicit, where I'm saying, hey, assistant, I will pass you text of a blog post idea. I want you to create both the title and 3 sentences for the blog post. And then lastly is the format. What do you want back in return? What style, what framework? How do you want the information? We want to be very explicit. So I say, hey, I want you to return 2 variables, one for the title and one for the message in JSON format. If you've never heard of JSON format, it's really nerdy and really exciting. JSON format is basically a way to organize it's the same thing like an Excel sheet, but you have these variables. Let me see if I can find a cool example here. Actually, this is a pretty cool example. Yeah, okay. So you have the column names right here, which is like, hey, if I had an Excel sheet, I would have a column that says line number, type, number, quantity, and price. And then the rows or the records would be these values or the placeholders. So that would have a record, a row, and they would have, oh, line number 1000. Oh, type, second column, value would be 2. So it's just another way of organizing it's basically what's called an object or a database, so that we can pass information and give it to basically computers. So it's a little nerdy right there. Same way as, so that's what I'm saying, because I want this AI assistant to do multiple things, and I want to give me back 2 different things. So we're kind of getting more bang for our buck. That's why I'm asking it to give me back in JSON format, because I could have it do 3, 4, 5 different things and return them in a JSON format. And we'll see what that is, so that I can use those variables or placeholder and give them to where I want it in my post, for example. So it just shows you how to give more bang for your buck rather than, hey, give a command and just get a blog post back, for example. So that is our prompt engineering, where we're being very explicit about what we want. I'm going to click save. And then it says, hey, what model do you want to use? There are many different models. I'm just going to use the regular ChatGPT I could even use mini. Actually, it's more affordable. Yeah, let's do mini. So that way I get more runway, because it's not a very complex request that we're asking it. You could even ask a 1 in here, which is kind of cool. There are additional tools. We don't need to do this, but this is important right here. The response format. You could get a text back, just like if you were chatting with ChatGPT, it would respond with text. But I'm saying I want a JSON object. Object, remember, just means a sheet, a Google sheet, an Excel sheet. That's all an object is. It means that it has rows and it has columns of information. So this sheet right here is called an object. So now you could be temperature, like how creative what you want, but that's good enough. That's all we need. So now this is important. You always want to test each part individually. So I'm going to test this, paste my idea. Real estate is saturated, for example, and I'm going to click run. It's thinking, there's our user, repost it, and look what it returned, a JSON object. So these are, remember, if it's red, it is a column, just like, so title, this will be like status, or like the column headers, basically. So we have 2 column headers, one for title, one for message, and then it did 2 things for us at once. This is super advanced and super awesome. I get so nerdy. It gave us a title Awesome. And look at that. It gave us explicitly 3 sentences for our blog post. Now, I told it 3 sentences because I don't want a whole blog post and it to spend a lot more tokens, which would again cost fractions of a penny. But still, that's why we want to be very explicit. Computers are very fast and powerful, but they're very dumb. So we want to be very explicit about what we're doing, what we want in back. So that looks great. So now we have an assistant. It's saved in our account. To add it, let's go back to our ChatGPT integration, because now we're going to add another module and we're going to type in ChatGPT. There's OpenAI. Cool. And we want to message one of our assistants. So I'm going to select that. And it says, hey, you first want to log in to your account. Now, something important that I'm not going to show on here is adding what's called your API keys. This is important. Think of API keys like the username and password for the automation to log in without having to like log in on a regular screen. That's basically, it gives access to this account, which has this ChatGPT bot. So you can find those in the upper right hand corner in your settings. I'm not going to show it down here because I want to keep my API key private, because the API key, think of it like the password for your login. So if someone has the API key, they can log in and spend a bunch of money on your credit card. I also highly recommend, just as a good practice, when you create your account, I put limits on how much can be spent per month, so that for whatever happens, you just never know with computers, they can just go rogue, or for whatever reason, I put a spending limit on this account so that it doesn't spend more than 20 bucks in a month for whatever reason. If I'm not looking, I forget and accidentally trigger it to run automatically or something like that. They're just safety measures that we have in place. So I highly recommend that. So make my API key and login, so it knows it already has access. So if I click assistant, we have our make assistant. Actually, it's a different project, but that's good enough. Cool. So there's our make assistant. It's technically looking for the other project, but this works too. It's the same prompt. So then role, we're going to choose assistant as our role. And message, we want to pass in information. And where's that information? Or our content idea, it's saved under the column message right here. And that's where our message is. So it's a placeholder. So if we go back, so it's in my Google Sheet and I want to pass the message. Should have renamed it content idea, but renaming things is always a challenge when you build code. So thread ID, we're going to leave blank. Choice tool, we're just going to choose none. Don't worry about if you don't know what those are. Not relevant for our exercise. So we have our assistant. It's already prompted. We're going to pass it a specific message or our content idea. And then I appreciate it. My ed tech. I have people live showing it. I'm grateful for everyone. I really am grateful for everyone joining me on the live stream and participating. Please like and subscribe so that the algorithm shares this with more people. We love to learn together. So I'm going to click save. Next, we're almost done. And now the final step that we're going to do is now post it to LinkedIn. So I'm going to click add a module. I'm going to type LinkedIn. And then it says, hey, it has a bunch of different features. We can post just a text post, an image and text, or a video and text. So what we're going to do is choose this one, image post. Now, since I've already logged in onto my account, you would just click add, log in, and that way it has access to it. Now, this is important because I added this HTTP module right here, then it automatically adds this feature here. So if you don't see this where it says, hey, where should I get the file for the image? If you don't see this, it's because you don't have the HTTP hooked up together. Once you have them hooked up, then it goes, oh, it sees it upstream and says, oh, I see the HTTP. I know you're going to pass me eventually an image. Let me save that for you. So that's perfect there. Now our title, this is cool. We're going to for right now, because we haven't ran it and it's never seen the JSON response yet, for example, we kind of have to run this so that we can get that JSON response so that we can build the next step. So I'm just going to put a placeholder here, title, content, just to have something, because we want to run it so we get some actual data, because right now it doesn't know the JSON response. So that's why. So I'm going to click save. These are just placeholders. I'm going to click save. I'm going to click run once. When I click run, that's going to run this workflow, and you'll notice in the upper right hand corner, you'll start seeing little update notifications. So there, it's running. Check, it did one, it's done. Let's see the little status bar. It sent it to our AI assistant for the first time. It got back some information, and it just made a blank post. So we're testing. It's not perfect just yet. And if we refresh, let me actually delete this one right here. Go ahead and delete. And then let me refresh. Very simple. There's our placeholder, just content. Very simple. But more importantly, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Since we ran it for the first time, now LinkedIn, when we go to update it, it now has the JSON response, which there it is. See right here. Now we have our title and that. Perfect. So, we need an extra step. Of course. This is cool. When you want to disconnect a pipeline, you're going to right click on this pipe and click unlink. I forgot to add what's called a JSON parser. It's a little module that will go ahead and read the JSON for us. So I'm going to type in JSON. Perfect. We're going to parse JSON. Parsing means just to read and separate and organize into separate things. It's going to, what do you want to input to this module to have that job done? We're going to, if we look right here, see how it automatically, since we ran it back, we have it's no different than like an Excel sheet. These are the columns of our Excel sheet or Google Sheet, and these are the values or the records, for example. And so since we ran it, we have some data. We love data, and result is where that whole message is going to be. All these things right here, this is more metadata, descriptions about the event that happened, but all the information is in result. So I'm going to click on result, and that's what we're going to pass into this little module, JSON, where his sole purpose, I like Rick and Morty, where he's like, what is my purpose? You parse data. That's all you do. So I'm gonna click save. Awesome. It's going to parse, and then I'm going to click the connect right here. So it connects to LinkedIn. Perfect. So we have our pipe. Excellent. And now if we go, I think we could just I'm gonna right click and see if I can run this module. Click OK. Don't worry. Let me run it again. Error messages are good because right now I want to get information that I could eventually give to LinkedIn. So we're going to just run this one more. Make sure that value is there. Yep, it's there. Click run once. Just like how we did with the AI assistant, where we had to run it to get some information. That's what we're going to do right now, to run it just to get some information from JSON for it to do its job. Now, when we go to LinkedIn and oh, look, this is new. There's our JSON module. And since we ran it, it now separated. See right here, it's just one value, title and message. Now it's separated. Here's the column header, or the title of the column, title. And then here's the value of the record in there. This is exciting. Oh, I love this. We're getting nerdy. And there's our title and there's our message already separated. So now we can go right back to our LinkedIn thing, and we could replace our placeholders with JSON. There's our title. We replace it with that. And then when we go to content, technically title doesn't really actually show on LinkedIn. It doesn't really do anything. It's really everything. It's just content. It's just the text, really. So that's why I'm just putting that there. So I'm going to add the title, press enter, boom, boom, and the message. Perfect. So it's going to output the title, couple spaces, and then output the response, all in the content. This is awesome. We're going to close this. Then settings, yes, show it publicly, add it to my main feed. Do you want to enable or disable resharing, where people can reshare your post? That's all it is. I'm going to click save. Are you ready? We now built, and let's test it out. So we're going to test. I'm going to just refresh to make sure everything is testing right here. So we want to make sure our environment is ready for some new data or ready for a test. So I'm going to just refresh this just to double check. Perfect. There's nothing there. So we're going to go to our make automation. Dang, did we just do this in 30 minutes? That's wild. Okay, let's now click run once and let's watch our new automation do the work for us. Take an idea, boom, downloads the image, boom, gives it to ChatGPT to go ahead and write a custom title and blog post, passes it over to our JSON, and that's now posted. Whew, that was quick. Think of how much time it saves you. This is the ROI of learning Make, is the time savings. That's especially with any AI tool. It's saving you time. And if you're an entrepreneur and you want to sell these automations to businesses, you always contextualize it with how many hours does it take them to do this task annually. And then you can see the savings that this can do, for example. So let's go to LinkedIn. Let me refresh. Look, no hands. And boom, how beautiful. Oh, this is so cool. So I should have really done it as like hello world, because when you learn how to code for the first time, your first project when you learn how to code it's a tradition in coding. It's called hello world. So congratulations, this was our hello world for our first automation for doing that. And you can see here's the title. There's our space and there's the blog post. And we can play with it now. Now I could give it, instead of real estate, I could be like technology is amazing. And then I could go back to our make. I could find, actually, let's just image of a dog, because we like dog images. Let me just find something different. Oh, he looks cute. Let's see. Can we get that image? Let me just grab another image. So now we could test, we can play with it and add different variables. Let me just grab a different image. Of course, a lot of these images are just trying to find one. Bear with me. Cool. Here's an image of a dog. We're going to go back. We're going to refill it with brand new data. This is important. I'm going to right click, paste special, and paste the values only. So it only adds the value of the URL. And it's important when you look at the URL that it ends in like a JPEG, something like that. .jpeg or something like that. So images, that's good. Pretty good. Let's test this out. So we have a new message and we have a new image. So let's run our AI posting robot. Thank you so much, Charles. I appreciate you showing up on the lives. Let's click run. It's now going to run, send it to our AI assistant, who's going to say, hey, new idea. I'm going to write a new blog post, parse it, and post it to LinkedIn. Let's go ahead and refresh, and let's see which dog picture I picked. Oh, isn't he cute? And look, it says it's a new title, Embracing Digital Transformation, How Technology is Shaping Our Future. And this is a completely brand new generative text written. So it is now dynamic, where we can now fill up this whole sheet with just a bunch of ideas and images that we could generate using AI or using another photo tool. And now we can just schedule these to run automatically. It's a little more advanced, but we now built it. Now, more importantly, for the next step, I want to teach you how to troubleshoot, because it looked pretty simple with me already knowing what to do already. But what you didn't see is me troubleshooting. I want to let you know that if you're playing with make.com, a part of the joy is learning how to troubleshoot. It's part of being a coder. Not every automation or code that you deploy works perfectly right off the bat. What you're not seeing is the hour of troubleshooting and debugging and trying to try different modules. And oh my God, this broke. What do I need? I don't know how to find it. I did the demo that John did, but mine's coming up with errors. What do I do? So this is where I want to teach you, more importantly, how to troubleshoot and even how to start from scratch if you don't know how to do make. So let's dive back in. And now we're going to do troubleshooting. That was pretty much a great demo. It worked awesome. Now I want to show you, hey, John, what if, now more importantly, let's save. So there's a little save icon right here. It's now saved. We're going to give it a name, LinkedIn post demo number 2. Give it a name right there. I'm going to go back to my main window here under scenarios. We're going to save our changes. Cool. We have all our different automations. You could turn them on and off or schedule them to run. Now, what if you didn't know what to do first or how to build an automation? This is important. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to click a new scenario. Now, this is kind of cheating, but what they have what's called AI. I don't want to encourage you to use this AI automation, but I want to encourage you to use it when it comes time to troubleshooting because it's great as a tool. So what if, hey, Make.com has this little AI assistant, and you can see here there's credits, so you can run this query or this bot 30 times completely for free every 6 days. And what if I didn't know what to do? So we're going to say, create a workflow or scenario that triggers. Remember, everything has to trigger off some event for it to start off. When a Google Sheet is updated, it has a columns with image URL and a text idea for a blog post. I want to pass that to a ChatGPT AI assistant to then pass to LinkedIn. So I'm going to press enter. That's pretty good as far as just describing it. Now what I'm going to caveat that. Now Sharon asks, don't worry if you're late. This is live and will be saved on my YouTube channel so that everyone can watch in the replay on my channel in the live section. So you can see yesterday we wrote a book using ChatGPT. So that's right here. And this one will get replaced with AI automation. So if we go back to our scenario, let's see. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Cool. And it said, hey, what I did was I created a Google Sheet trigger. I retrieved some data. I added a ChatGPT content creation module, and then I added the LinkedIn post module. So now you can see the difference between this one, which is what it created, versus the one that I created right here. So this is mine, and this is what it created right off the bat. But if we look at it, notice how a lot of the variables are blank. See here, it's all blank. It didn't fill in anything, even the LinkedIn thing. Didn't fill in. But what it's good at, I want to show you, is that if you don't know what module to put before, for example. Now, caveat, so that's one way to kind of figure out, it's a good baseline to start with, for example. The second thing I want to teach you is where to find information is YouTube. So when I first did this workflow, LinkedIn wasn't accepting an image and it was giving me an error. And I was like, oh, LinkedIn, why are you giving me an error? And I was like, I was missing something. So what I did also second is YouTube, and I searched make.com LinkedIn post. I want to teach you most importantly how to troubleshoot, because when you build these things, no two make automations are the same, and what you build one make automation will be completely different than if you deploy it to another business, to a different scenario, for example. So I almost treat like every workflow is kind of like a snowflake, a little unique. So here, what I did was I went through, I think it was this one. I just went through a couple
Which
videos.
Is great. So that's perfect.
And basically what I was looking for actually was, this video, perfect. Right here, I scrubbed through the whole video and I was like, wait a minute, this dude was so nice to post a YouTube video. And he has a link to about, wait, what's that HTTP thing? I don't have an HTTP thing. So I listened, I was like, that's what that module does. Okay, let me add it. So then I added mine and it worked. So that's the second place that you could go for troubleshooting, because you always, when you first deploy, you'll always have what's called bugs or errors. Look forward to them. They're actually really good. It's part of the practice or skill set of becoming a coder. You're just coding with no code tools. Software developers also, I recommend people learn how to code. It's such a valuable skill set. So then the third way that I want to show you of how to troubleshoot or how to start from scratch, for example, if you're looking for, is ChatGPT. So if you go to my ChatGPT, and I think I have a conversation here. Yes, I do. Wonderful. And oops, probably, actually, here we go. Here's a prompt, for example. I said, hey, you are a make.com expert. Create a workflow step by step with modules for a Google Sheet trigger. And it said, oh, cool. I used 4, which is the regular one. So it said, oh, cool. And look, we've got create a new scenario. Here's the trigger. So we always want to look what module do you use, and then it'll give you roughly what to fill in. Awesome. Here's your action module, which is kind of technically we didn't use that, but it's again, this is a good way to just notice how, again, it still doesn't give you exactly what you're looking for. Notice the HTTP module is not in here. So again, I could go back and be like, hey, the image is stuff like that. So that's where it's like, again, not each one will give you a small piece, and it's more what I more wanted you to do is become very resourceful to find where to find information, because part of the joy is troubleshooting, for example, and that's, you have to become a detective, and the automations are really good. For example, let's break it. Let's break our automation, which is also really fun. Let's say I go to my Google Sheet and I don't give it a good URL, www.test.com. I paste the wrong URL. Let's break our automation. This is also really fun to do. Okay, let's run it. Let's see an error. What will happen? Oh, we got an error. Errors are good. Don't freak out. You want to be a detective. You're like, oh, let's detect, let's troubleshoot. And make.com is really good at telling you where the error is. So if we kind of zoom in, oh, let me zoom in a little more. Cool. Well, there's a little red alert right there. So if we click on it, oh, there's something here in the file. Okay, there we go. It says, oh, validation error. The URL parameter is looking for a URL. If you want to handle the error automatically, oh, but it says, okay, it's looking for a URL. So let's go backwards and be like, you know what? This didn't end in .jpeg, so it's actually the wrong URL. So I'm going to just put in my JPG URL. Perfect. I'm going to just delete. If you, just so you kind of know, everything after the question mark are like variables as well too. So you really just want where it just ends in the value or JPEG. So you know that when you go to this URL, so if we go directly to that URL, it loads that image. It's basically almost analogous to being saved in a Google Drive. You could do the same thing too. So what a cute doc. Awesome. So we know now, and then we updated it and we tested again. Click run. Look at that. No errors. Looking good. Let our AI assistant do the work. It's posting. Boom. And we know it posted it perfectly. But basically what we're seeing here is just troubleshooting. So those are some ways. So we've built our make automation. We've created AI assistants, and we kind of got 2 bangs for our buck kind of thing, where we, or more bang for our buck, where we're asking it to do multiple tasks, but we're clever, where we're saying, hey, separate them and save them in a JSON object, kind of like an Excel sheet, basically, so that we can pass those information using our cool JSON parser, which is actually not here. It's actually in a different one. So if we go here, scenarios, post to, click on it. There's our cool JSON parser. So we kind of got more information from that. Cool. And then we were also able to troubleshoot. So troubleshooting, again, you could ask AI. AI is just going to give you what modules roughly. The real skill set, honestly, is going to YouTube and watching. You're honestly just going to watch a bunch of videos and find out. They're not going to give you the exact answer, but you kind of have to like analyze it, be like, something's different about his workflow versus mine. And now, if we wanted to take this to the next level, where would you go from here? Because I want to challenge you. So you now have all the fundamentals that you need. You understand how to do make. You understand how to create AI assistants. Now, if you want to take it to the next step, what you would do is you would replace the Google Sheet with an actual database. That's going to be Airtable. Airtable is a little more expensive, but You can sign up for Airtable. It's a little more fancier than a Google Sheet. You don't want to use Google Sheets, especially when you're deploying this in your business or for a client, for example. So you can use Airtable, or you can use what I teach in our course, because again, we have a course on how to do this more in depth inside our AI Mastermind community. We teach you how to use ClickUp, and ClickUp is very powerful. It functions just like, let's ClickUp. Let me just open this. ClickUp, so we actually just look at it. Cool. ClickUp functions exactly just like, let's go here, just like Airtable, but it's very affordable. It's like $9 a month, which is super nice. Yeah, it's even cheaper if you get the annual plan, but it more importantly allows you to add unlimited records. And here's a secret that I'm going to share with you. ClickUp allows you to store the images, and it gives you a custom URL that you could then pass to your automations. So it saves you an extra step from having to store the images in some other, some like Google Drive or Dropbox or something like that. And then the cool thing is they also have unlimited storage too, and unlimited records, which is super dope. So unlimited record, look at that, unlimited records, and more importantly, unlimited storage. Think of how much storage, how much images and files. So you can theoretically, if we go back to my previous automation, you can save all of your content in ClickUp across all your social media channels, and you can build, and then you can have a date field for post on Monday, post on Tuesday, post on Thursday, everything like there. I'm going to simplify this. Let me just get rid of this so it just kind of makes a little more sense. So just actually, let's go unlink. Perfect. I'm just going to move all this over here just to kind of make it a little more zen, to kind of show you what a simple automation could look like. Perfect. Don't worry about that. Cool. And then here, don't need this. I'm just right clicking and delete, right clicking, delete. Perfect. So this is what I would challenge you to build next. Actually, and you can even be much simpler. You don't even have to be that crazy. We can just, I separated all these little routes for different types, but I know when people open up, when they show make automations, it's always like this octopus nest or octopus options. I just want to keep it very simple so you can just conceptualize what a very simple next step advanced thing to do is. Delete. Perfect. So we want to build a social media bot that automatically posts to Facebook and to Instagram, and all the data is stored in ClickUp. So you would save your images and text, for example. I built this in 2023 before we had AI. So you would add your AI module to generate text. So technically you can have in your sheet just ideas basically and images. You could also, I want to challenge you too. You can also, it's like, it starts off at $20 a month. I just don't want to spend $20 a month for the demo, honestly. If you want to generate images, you can choose Ideogram, and Ideogram has an API that you can use right here. So you can, just like how we did the API for AI assistants, you can have an API for Ideogram, give it a prompt for an image, and it will return an image. You still will need to save it, probably in like Google Drive, somewhere, and then you could retrieve it, for example. But that's how you could also generate images in this workflow. I want to, again, with this whole series, the whole goal is just to inspire you. And then you can automatically post on Facebook, Instagram, any other social media network. Make is very powerful, which is awesome. So let's bring it to a close. Congratulations, you are now very advanced. If you can build this, I want to challenge you to build one for yourself. And if you're like, hey, John, I want to continue to learn more about AI. So this series I'm doing again, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m., where every night we're just going to pick a project. I'm going to teach, and mostly, it's not mostly teaching, it's mostly inspiring, just to show you guys something cool. I learned something new along the way too. And then if you want to take your skills to the next level, I highly recommend joining my AI Mastermind School community. The link is in the bio, and I just added this, which is actually very exciting. Inside of it, you'll see there's the meeting, our calendar meeting for our events every night of the week. Plus, we have an exclusive one every Saturday at 10 a.m. Q&A where we meet the group. We talk about AI. It's such a fun community. And then most importantly, it's something that I'm launching this month. Here you can see recordings of all our past meetups and events and questions. You get access to a list of the best AI tools and also courses on the best tools. But here's most important that I'm just launching this month, what's called the 30-day AI challenge, where every day I have an hour tutorial where I take you from complete beginner, where I don't know how to use ChatGPT or what is AI, and I take you all the way after 30 days to become an AI expert where you're building complex make automations. We have a project where basically you would create and generate content as a social media automation. So for using Make, you'll build AI chatbots and you'll be able to build AI voice receptionists for your business, for your skill set, if you want to become just an AI consultant, expert in AI, or even start your own AI agency, which is very popular right now. So you can build make automations and AI tools for small businesses as a full-time business or side hustle right there. So it's a 30-day program. It takes you all the way to become beginner to AI expert, which I'm very proud and I'm excited to launch this month. And that is our series. Wow, we are at time. I'm excited. So again, this series is meant to inspire you to learn something new, a new skill set and a new app so that you can build and stay up to date with AI. I'm Jonathan Acuna. I'm super grateful for each and one of you that took time out of your day. I see a lot of my past students, especially Brother Vince. So grateful to see you again. I'm grateful for all of you taking time out of your day to learn AI with me. Please like and subscribe. It goes to boost the algorithm. Join the AI Mastermind, and then you can rewatch this video. Yes, every day, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm committing myself to show up and do this again. Every night's going to be a complete different challenge. Yesterday, we wrote an AI book, which I read it last night and it was really awesome. So we literally wrote an entire outline of a book, a rough book. There's 12 chapters in here. We wrote, illustrated, we did it using ChatGPT, and we did it all in an hour. You can watch that video under the live right here, how to book AI. And this one that we just recorded will also be on replay that you could rewatch this video. I challenge you. It only takes $5 to pay for the AI assistance. That's super advanced because a lot of people are like, basics, how to do ChatGPT prompts. Maybe they're a little intermediate. They're building custom GPTs. I highly recommend. Then you're advanced where you're like, no, I'm in the playground and I'm building custom AI employees, AI agents, people that I could pass work to and get generative content back to automate work. And then Make is probably the most powerful thing out of it. So that's going to be the whole series. Thank you so much for sharing. And then I'll see you guys in the community. Again, I'm grateful. Happy Friday, everyone. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Bye.